boys and girls. Lydia and I are having a Beatrix Potter tea party today, and we were talking about all of our favorite Beatrix Potter stories. So Lydia, can you tell the boys and girls in my class what your favorite Beatrix Potter story is?
That's a tough one, because I really like Beatrix Potter. I think my favorite one is The Tale of Tom Kitten.
And why is that your favorite story?
I think that's my favorite because Tom Kitten just gets in a lot of trouble, and he gets in a lot more trouble than I do. It just makes me feel better.
Okay. Well, Beatrix Potter was a very famous writer, and she wrote fables. And if you remember, fables are stories that are meant to teach a lesson, but they're usually written about animals. And so the animals are the ones that teach the lesson to children. Something else that's really interesting about Beatrix Potter is that she published her books in a very special way. If you notice, a lot of Beatrix Potter's books are really, really small. Lydia, why do you think they're published in such a small shape or small way?
Maybe it's because paper was more valuable and it's easier to get more out if they're smaller.
That's a great answer. Actually, the reason why her books were published in a small size was because she wanted to make sure that kids with little hands could hold the books comfortably. That way, adults could enjoy the story as well as kids, and she knew that the kids were her audience. One last interesting thing about Beatrix Potter is that she loved to illustrate her own stories. When you look at the illustrations in her books, they're all watercolor, and they were all inspired by real animals and real places near where she lived in England. They're all soft pastel colors, and they're also drawn in a very small space. So even if you find a big book of Peter Rabbit, you'll see that the pictures inside are actually very small. Well, I'm going to tell the kids about their writing prompt that they're doing this week. Ready? Okay. So this week, you listened to the story Peter Rabbit, and in this story, you heard that Peter Rabbit was naughty and did not listen to his mother when she said, "Don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden." And he learned a lesson. Lydia, as your mother, have I ever told you not to do something to try to keep you safe?
Yes.
And have you ever learned a lesson from when you didn't listen?
Yes and no.
Can you share with the boys and girls in my class a time where mommy or daddy tried to tell you to do something to keep you safe and maybe you didn't listen and you learned from what happened?
What happened was we were at Disneyland waiting in line for It's a Small World. And my mom and dad told me not to sit and swing on the chains.
Yeah,
and guess what I did? I sat on the chains like here's a swing. And I hit my head very, very hard. And we learned that there's not always ice at Disneyland.
I do remember that time. That was kind of a scary day. And that's a great example though. We were in line at Small World, and I did warn, or I should say Daddy warned her to not sit on the chains, and she didn't listen, and she hit her head so hard we were sure she had a concussion. And that's a great example. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that all of you boys and girls can think of a time where your mom or your dad or anyone tried to keep you safe and warned you to not do something. And I want you to think back to that time, and today's writing prompt is about the lesson that you learned. So think about a time that your mom or your dad tried to tell you to do something or not do something, and maybe you didn't listen. But I want you to tell me the lesson that you learned. Read the prompt for your details, and I can't wait to see what you send me. Post them to your journal when you're done. Bye!